Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to show you a no-line Copic coloring technique on this cute little Mercat, and then I'm going to make a card with some Glimmer paste. Today's card is also part of the Save the Crafty YouTuber blog video hop, where big and small crafty YouTubers come together to introduce our viewers to new crafty YouTubers. Hopefully you find someone you like. There is also sponsors to this video hop, and to win any of the giveaways you have to add a comment on so many videos you can as possible and tell us if you're from the US or if you're international. The next hopper will be in the description down below. So let's start with the video. I'm going to start with this little cute Mercat. I'm going to stamp in some Memento Desert Sand ink. Memento ink are Copic safe as long as you don't buy the luxe version, because that one isn't, but the original version is, so you can feel very comfortable using them with your Copics. I used the Desert Sand both because the kitty itself is going to be colored in sand, but also because it's very light and kind of neutral toned color. There is other you can use too if you want to. I'm going in and doing my darkest as my second layer, or it started with some lights just to block out the shadows, and then go in with the darkest. And as you see, I'm not going all the way out to the edges. This is because wherever I have shadows overlapping, I want to have that little rim light to separate the different shapes, to make the kitty look like the kitty and not just colors of blobs. It's one of the most important things to think about when you do a no-line coloring technique. Wherever you have the same color overlapping, or different shapes overlapping, and they will have shadows next to them, you do need those little rim lights to be able to separate them properly, and you can really see them as separate shapes. Then I'm going in with my R30 and R32, which blends pretty good at small shapes but not at bigger. So I'm using the tip to tip technique because I don't want to go darker or lighter with this color. I kind of want to stay in that tone. And then I'm going to the little mermaid tail. I'm using some BGs, some blue greens. I ended up using first the BG 000 as my lightest, but I felt it was a little bit too blue, so I just went over it with my G 000, which gives it a little bit more of a green tint. The BG 000 is actually quite minty because it's so light, so you can use it very nicely with the rest of the blue greens. Up at the little star, I actually chose to only go with the G 000. Then I'm going in with the Polychromos by Faber-Castell. It's very sharp because I want to have as nice details as possible. I'm only going in with the eyes, the eyebrows, and the little mouth, just to give it a little bit more details. I'm trying not to use like a black or something because the rest of the Mercat is so light, so I'm using that Nougat color of my Polychromos. To finish it off, I'm going in with my gel pen, and it is the white jelly roll in the size 08. I'm just adding a little bit of highlights here and there. Next step is the background. I have a top folding portrait card. I'm using some Tesa painter's tape. This painter tape is called Sensitive, so it's actually a little bit nicer for your papers, and it doesn't rip at all. And also it's pink. Who doesn't love pink? I'm pushing down the My Favorite Things little stencil here because I am going to use some Nuvo Glimmer paste. I'm using it in the color of Moonstone, so this is this beautiful glittery texture. I'm just using a palette knife, and then I'm just kind of scraping it on, like buttering something, trying to just stay very vertical so that I just kind of scraping on top of the stencils and not down in the holes of the stencil. I really like this glimmer paste because it leaves just a see-through glimmer, basically. I do remove the stencil and go and wash it immediately after, because otherwise you will have glimmer paste stuck on your stencil and that won't go away. For the sentiment strip, I'm using some Dough ink by Fawn and a sentiment from the stem set as the Mercat, which comes from the Summer Cuddly Critters by Simon Says Stamp. I have all the details and links to all the products in the description down below. I stamped it once at the side just because I never used that stamp set before, and then I stamped it at the top so I could cut a strip off. The strip I cut is 5/8 of an inch. And then I wanted to have a couple more strips just to build up a little bit of a sentiment cluster. So I'm using some tropical teal, and I cut 1/2 inch of that. And then I use Summer Splash, and I cut it at 3/8 of an inch. So they kind of go 1/8 of an inch smaller. I kind of like the 1/8 of an inch size difference. I really like it. Here I kind of tried to figure out how I wanted to do that little cluster. I cut the sentiment at a diagonal, and I actually didn't cut it as close to the sentiment because I wanted really to have it as a flag end. So in the end I decided to actually make a flag end of it. And I just cut a little cut in the middle, and then I cut up to that cut to make the flag end. I found that is the absolute easiest way to make a flag end. And then I just diagonally cut the 2 little strips so that they kind of go in opposite directions. I'm using some Fawn glue pen, and I really like this glue pen. It is very easy to add a super teeny tiny line to your little pieces, and also gives you just a little while to wiggle that to make it just perfect, and then it's stuck, which I really like. Then I'm using some foam tape, the back of that little mermaid, to kind of finish off the cluster. I really like this way, having like the sentiment going straight out from the cat. And then I add a foam tape strip on the back of that cluster, and I add it kind of in the middle of the glimmer paste, which I added at the kind of lower left quadrant of the card. So I kind of added that. To finish the card off, I'm going to use some Nuvo crystal drops in the gloss of Caribbean Ocean, which kind of has this creamy blue color, and I really felt it would fit perfectly with the other kind of mermaidy details. I do a cluster of 5 dots in varying sizes up in the right corner, and then to kind of make it a little bit balanced, because I felt it was toppling a little bit, I added a small cluster of 3 in the lower left corner also, and I kind of liked how that made a diagonal line right through the card somehow. And that is the finished card. I really liked doing it. I really love the glimmer paste, and I really love that little cat. Again, to continue hopping, there is a link in the description down below. Down below you find all of the details for this card, all the supplies used, all the Copics used. If you have any questions, just comment down below. If you like this video, please thumbs it up. It means a lot to me. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, and then go down in the description and continue hopping. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you later. Bye!